Hello, sacred souls. It's Susanna from Alamanic Shaman. What I have here for us tonight is healing from toxic shame. And basically, this morning I was guided to a video, but also this morning when I moved my tray from the ceremony from last night when we did the healing on, healing all the toxic interactions in love relationships because of trauma that's passed down, that was generational, etc., right? And may have happened from, or may have come from wars and other types of trauma from abuse and so on. The way the wax ran, I feel that this looks like a sneaky, angry demon. And that's why I actually changed the lighting and I'm starting a little bit darker so that you can see it better. So basically here is the head. See, like the eye and sort of the mouth, snout, whatever. There are some kind of ears or whatever up there. And then the arm, or like paws or whatever. And the thin, scaly kind of body. Oh, it's funny, I didn't think of scaly before, that just came to me. But sort of almost like a snake or dragon type, like thin body with the legs at the bottom, and then the tail kind of runs back there. So here, I think this is probably the best way to show you, because when I change the lighting, it's not as visible, so this is actually better to see. So I'll leave it at that for a moment for you to absorb. And I will turn the tray around in a moment because I usually have the candle for the fire where this one is, like oh, that's water. There's just a little bit left. But also, I feel like this looks a bit like a head. It's like a head wants to come out. It's like we want to break free from this, but we're still struggling with this demon. And for the past 2 weeks, I've been guided to and shown and received messages about releasing shame, letting go of shame. And I thought I had already let go of a lot of the personal guilt and shame that I felt about, let's say, things that I did in the past that I wasn't proud of. But I realize now how much deeper it goes. And the video I was guided to today goes back to childhood. And then I watched actually 2 more, and I rewatched this one as well, like after work tonight. So that's why it's like quite late now. But I also made the connection that a lot of that also has to do with the stuff that our ancestors went through, because that also gets passed down, right? So I'll try to make like all the connections. But basically, there's a YouTube channel that the guy's name is Patrick Teahan, if I'm saying that right. So he's a licensed social worker, and the video is called 3 Ways to Work with Toxic Shame. And he actually has part 1 and part 2. In part 2, he has the more practical stuff, but part 1 is very important to kind of understand things better. There is another psychologist that was quite interesting too, but I find he was more sort of useful and practical for what I think we need in this, whereas her video kind of helps us with a general understanding. So her name is Dr. Kim Sage, and her video has the same title, and she's a licensed psychologist. But basically what he talked about is, and I actually left out some stuff because this is actually the most important stuff here. But so he starts out by saying that like toxic shame is when our integrity, or shame is when our integrity is taken away. And then he talks about how like there are extreme ends of the spectrum, like extreme toxic shame on the one end, and then extreme shamelessness on the other, which is like basically in narcissists who just don't feel any shame. They're never wrong. They're hold on, I wrote it down here. So extreme toxic shame versus shameless, grandiose, and never being wrong. And yeah, that affects us basically for the rest of our lives if we don't learn to heal from that. And, you know, we have to break the pattern and basically reparent ourselves. And that's actually what the other one, the Dr. Kim Sage said, the psychologist. Okay, so this one here, though, Patrick Teahan, said one is direct shame to make the child, is used to make the child compliant. So in an extreme case, that would be sexual abuse, shaming and blaming the victim. And you can watch the videos to see all the details. And then there's indirect shame. So one is like directly shaming and blaming the child for whatever, right? Sorry, not whatever, but when they've done something wrong, but actually really shaming the child instead of like properly parenting them. Two, indirect shame by proxy. So a parent, for example, who is highly codependent, sociopathic, it's late. The perfect parent in public, but the opposite in private, for example, like two-faced and so on, right? So we're not being shamed directly, but because of the situation and the circumstances, we're still ashamed, or we become ashamed. And then there's one, the third one, shame by neglect. And that's doing the other person's emotional work for them because they're not really there for us. Feeling to fail to make the other person happy. So that's the feeling, right? Like that we're responsible for their happiness, but we aren't, right? So, yeah, you can go into more of the details, but what also came to me is that a lot of that has to do with what we worked on yesterday, how a lot of the toxic interactions between, well, like in families, but also between husband and wife and parents and children, it usually goes back to war times and so on, and it gets passed down, right? So for example, I've absorbed some of my mother's toxic shame. She was completely neglected by her parents. Both of her parents were working full-time to try to make ends meet and actually try to offer my mother a better life on a material level. But she was emotionally and physically neglected in the sense that they just weren't there. Like my grandmother got home at like 7 o'clock at night. I'm not sure when my birth grandfather came home. My mother was alone at home, like even during elementary school times, you know, when she was still fairly young. She had a key to let herself in, to warm up the food, and so on. So, like, she definitely fell into the third category, right? And she had a lot of internalized shame that I've absorbed, especially as an empath. And I felt like she was highly codependent on me, kind of forcing me into the emotional role of a substitute husband. And I felt that I was responsible to make her happy, but I wasn't, right? Like, that's not a child's job. So, like, there's a lot of stuff that gets passed down because the parent is so damaged that they then put a lot of that on their children, and even just by like the roles they force them to be in, and so on, right? And that's because my mother was born at the end of World War II in Germany. So, like, her parents had lived through the war. They were severely damaged. And of course, like, their parents had lived through World War One and so on, right? It's like every generation had different hardships and struggles and whatnot. And, well, times were tougher. So, like, people weren't as aware of how to live an emotionally healthy life, right? Okay, anyway, before I ramble about this, let's get the ceremony started. Let me add more lighting. Here's one. Here's the other one. Let me light this one too, and I turned it sideways now, so now you can't actually see that demon type creature. See, that was over here. Well, actually, it still shows. Oh yeah, it still shows up okay. Yeah, I thought it was better before, but yeah, that's still pretty good. All right. Anyway, so we're gonna smudge, and then I'm gonna call in our spirit guides, and we're gonna do a fairly quick one. And that shall also be like for all the generational stuff and cultural stuff. Oh, yes, that's what I forgot. Sorry, that came to me earlier and I totally forgot it again. See, it's late and I'm tired. So basically, Nazi Germany is a big one that basically makes us carry a lot of shame. And I think a lot of people aren't even fully aware of it. But I knew one German woman here who is just in complete denial of what actually happened. She's like, no, that didn't really happen, blah, blah, blah. And me, on the other hand, since I was a teenager, I just felt this national guilt. And it's like when I read a lot of books and stuff on that topic, and I always identified with the underdog. And still, and I mean, for many years, my best friend here in Canada was Jewish, right? Or, I mean, she still is. It's just on my path, our ways kind of went in different directions in the end. But there's still this underlying national guilt that I've tried to get rid of, and it never fully went away. And I could never quite explain it because I never did anything. And as far as I know, no one in my family was an active Nazi. So it's like, why do I feel this shame? And I think we, especially as empaths and light workers, we take on a lot of stuff from our culture and what's passed down generationally and our own. So like we have a lot more to carry than the average person, right? Okay, I think that burns enough. Please cleanse and renew all of our energies and take away anything dark, evil, and low vibrational, and flood us with massive amounts of healing light, unconditional love, blessings, and protections from the divine, and an abundance in all areas in which we're currently lacking. Ooh, yeah, that feels good. And so we're gonna also like include the cultural burdens that cause shame as well. So, dear Creator, higher power, source, and soul energy, our higher selves, our higher spirit guides of the light, our ancestors that are in the light, dear Mother Earth, great spirit of the fire, and the other elements, air, earth, and water, please join the ceremony and assist the healings, prayers, banishings, protections, and curse breakings with all of your powers. Thank you. Dankeschön. All my relations, please close the circle of protection around us. Thank you. Dankeschön. All my relations. And actually, I didn't think of grabbing a stick because I just added in the curse breaking. Give me 1 second. Okay, I don't know which of the sticks is going to break better. Probably this one. So I'll put the other one over here. Okay. Please, we ask to help us heal from any and all toxic shame in our body, mind, spirit, soul, and energy field, and in any and all karmic aspects. That may also be from soul contracts, from vows, and any and all toxic shame that comes from our childhood, as well as what is passed down from generation to generation through our lineages, through our bloodlines, as well as what's been passed down to us and handed to us through our cultural heritage and inheritance, and any and all curses that were put on our cultures, our bloodlines, on us, and any and all other aspects that apply to our situations. Let us fully and completely heal from any and all toxic shame, and let us fully and completely heal from it and step into integrity, that's a bit of a tongue twister, into integrity and into authenticity, being on the right path, and leaving behind these dark seeds that I see in the candle now, and leaving behind all those dark, lurking, sneaky, angry demons that still want to control us with all of that. And let us be healed from that toxic shame throughout all of time and space, throughout all lifetimes, timelines, parallel and alternate realms, realities, multi and universes, and any and all other aspects that affect us in this lifetime. And so it is, all my relations, and let any and all curses that were put on us, our families, our lineages, our bloodlines, and our cultures, now and forever be broken. Let me see if I can do it like this. Oops. Okay, gotta do it on the floor. Hold on. And here it is. It is now and forever broken. We are free, and we are now healing. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much. Okay, let the ceremony now be finished, and accept our love, thanks, gratitude, and blessings for all of your help, for all the healings, for all the curse breaking and protection, and all your help that you keep giving us. And so it is. All my relations, all our relations, please open the circle of protection around us, but keep us strongly safe, shielded, and protected. And so it is. All my relations. All right. Yeah, this feels good. Oh, sorry. Just adjusting to the different energy. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video and for working on your own healing. If you liked the video, please give it a or the ceremony. Please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And I'm also sending you lots of love and light. Be well until next time. Thanks. Bye.